Good evening. I'm Evan Warner, and today I'd like to talk to you about a wonderful new product we have. I'm a representative of Human Incorporated. You might remember us from about 2005 when we released the amazing product, the brainstem. The brainstem, as you might remember, is inserted right here attached to your spinal cord at the base of your skull, and is responsible for most of your automatic bodily functions. Probably the most important part of the brainstem is the medulla. The medulla controls your breathing and heart rate, so without a medulla, you will die. Another important part of the brainstem is the pons. Now the pons coordinates all your involuntary muscle movement, such as within your organs. So, same thing for breathing. Your medulla controls the fact that you keep breathing without thinking about it, whereas the pons coordinates the muscle contractions of your diaphragm, which keep you breathing, or in your stomach, or anywhere else that all the muscle movements you don't think about. The final component of the brainstem is the reticular formation. The reticular formation is a network of nerves that filter incoming signals of arousal from the spinal cord. But now we have an all-new product for you, the brain. The brain includes the brainstem, but also has many new amazing features, such as the 4 lobes. First of all, we have the frontal lobe, which is the primary auditory cortex. What this means is basically all the sounds that you're hearing are interpreted by your frontal lobe. It also contains what we call the Wernicke's area. Now the Wernicke's area is responsible for learning language, which makes sense that it's in the frontal lobe, which is responsible for interpreting sounds. So as you hear sounds, your frontal lobe interprets them, and then your Wernicke's area comprehends it as actual language. Next we have the parietal lobe. The parietal lobe is responsible for interpreting all your sensory feelings. So basically anything you touch or feel, when you're feeling the texture of it, your parietal lobe is interpreting the feelings. So there's the occipital lobe. The occipital lobe is the primary visual cortex. So anything you see is going to be interpreted by your occipital lobe. Finally, we have the temporal lobe. The temporal lobe is responsible for organizing all the sensory information you're receiving and interpreting it based on what sense it's coming from. This is a picture of what our amazing new product looks like. As you can see, the 4 lobes are cleverly located within the brain. Now I know, it may not look like much more than a misshapen ball of clay, but it's so much more. It's even divided into 2 halves, responsible for mostly separate functions. But the 2 halves can communicate to each other through a barrier called the corpus callosum, which is the tissue in between the 2 halves, as you can see in this picture. But wait, there's more! The brain also includes the limbic system, an amazing contraption. Now the limbic system has 4 parts. The first 2 parts are the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus. Now the hypothalamus controls the pituitary gland. And what the hypothalamus does is it regulates things like thirst and hunger and also sexual activity. So whenever you get thirsty or hungry, that's your hypothalamus telling you that you don't have enough food or water in your system and you need to take some. Now, here to talk to you about the other 2 parts of the limbic system, Dr. Johnson.
Hi, I'm Dr. Johnson, and I've had the pleasure of examining the human brain. I have to say, there are many important health benefits to having one. Take this man, for example. He has a damaged amygdala, which controls placid or ferocious responses.
One second!
Come on, man, I need to use the bathroom.
As you can see, he had a damaged amygdala, which caused him to have uncontrollable rage. Another incredibly beneficial part of the brain is the hippocampus, which controls memory.
Yo, can you change the channel to channel 57? I don't want to see it then.
Sure. What am I doing? Sorry?
Just change it to channel 57.
Oh, okay. How does this work again?
As you can see, this man's hippocampus was not functioning correctly, which caused him to forget how the TV remote worked. Well, that's it for the limbic system. Now, here's our premier neurosurgeon, Dr. Chang, to talk to you about the cerebellum.
Hi folks, I'm Dr. Chang. As a highly accomplished neurosurgeon, I know all about the cerebellum. It is responsible for enabling nonverbal learning as well as memory, but it also allows us to coordinate time and as well as modulate our emotions and recognize sounds and textures. The cerebellum is also important for motor functions. This means that it is able to coordinate voluntary movements. Back to you, Evan.
And that's it for the amazing brain. And it could be yours. Just call the number on this screen right now. Just dial the number on your screen, and with 7 easy payments of $13.99, a brain could be yours, plus a small shipping and handling fee. So order now. No time to lose.